Hoi hoi, Rinda here. I'm in Solkan in Slovenia, where I'm going to hike the Juliana Trail. I did an introduction video, so if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. But in short, the Juliana Trail is a 330-kilometer trail consisting of a 270-kilometer loop around the Julian Alps and a 60-kilometer extension into the Brda wine region. And I'm using the extension as an approach trail to the main loop. Today I'm hiking the first two sections from Solkan to Smartno and on to Korada. According to the guidebook, it should take me about 7 hours. It's 27 kilometers, but I'm hiking in the opposite direction as the guidebook describes it, so I'm not sure how accurate the time splits are. It's almost 6 o'clock in the morning, so I'm starting really early because Slovenia is experiencing a heat wave. Yesterday it went up to about 31 degrees Celsius, and that is way too hot for hiking. So by starting this early, I hope to beat the heat. Right now it's quite nice and balmy and still enjoyable. The trail starts at the railway station. There's not really a marker to celebrate your finish or your start, or any information about the Juliana Trail really. There's information about several other trails, including the Peace Walk, which is a hike commemorating the First World War, because in this region the fighting was quite heavy. I think this was one of the front lines between the Italians and the Austro-Hungarians. So no marker, no information sign, but I did see yesterday some of the first markers. Anyway, I am very much looking forward to this hike. I think it's going to be beautiful. Let's hike! Komoot wasn't kidding when they said it was a steep ascent on the elevation profile. It's not even 6:30 yet, and I'm already sweating like crazy. I seem to remember that in the introduction video I said the trail was easy and mostly road walking. Well, I've never been more glad to have been wrong, because although this is quite harder than I had anticipated, it's also very much fun, even though it's hot. I'm very glad I brought 2.5 liters of water, so I don't have to conserve any water, because it's very thirsty work. What an absolutely gorgeous view. I must say, so far I'm loving it. And I love that there's also a bench, but it's about 10 meters of trail, so I'm too lazy for that. Let's go up the hill. It can't be far now. So I've made it to the top of Sabotin mountain, 600 something meters, little over 2 kilometers, and it took me about an hour and a half. But bear in mind, I'm Dutch, so everything over 100 meters is considered a serious mountain in our country, and I'm certainly no mountain goat. I'm in the remnants of St. Valentin Church, which was destroyed in the First World War, I think. But there are still flowers there, so that's quite touching. And the view is again amazing. From here I think it's mostly downhill to Smartno, but I've been wrong before, so let's see if that's truly the case. I think these are the World War I trenches the guidebook talked about, but not at all what I was expecting, having been in Ypres 3 times, and they have a set of trenches there, but it's all dug out in the mud. But of course here you're in the mountains, so it looks totally different. Now these are far more recognizable as trenches, but what an incredible work it must have been to dig this out. So the sign here says that the caverns we saw had several levels and were used for soldiers' lodgings, but also to launch grenades during the First World War. So I've hiked a bit over 5 kilometers, time for a break. I think I deserved that after that ridge walk. It was absolutely gorgeous, but with all those rocks it was quite difficult walking. I love higher mountains, but I'm not really a fan of rocks. So hopefully I'm done now with the ridge walk and descending into Smartno, though that's still about 10 kilometers away. I have about a liter of water left out of the 2.5 liters I started out with. But fortunately, I don't usually drink as much on the descent. But for sure, I'll have to fill up in Smartno, because then the 11 kilometers to Korada hut is uphill again. So I'm finally off the ridge, where I don't have to mind my feet with every step. So although there are no longer views, it's still very enjoyable. And the shade is very welcome too. because even though it's still early morning, it's getting hotter already. So in 1991, Slovenia fought the War of Independence, and these anti-tank blocks were used in that war. There's a signpost with a short explanation, and also the history of the Slovenians, which dates long before that war, of course. So somewhere here there's supposed to be a side trip, 15 minutes each way, to a church that's beautifully situated, but I think I'm going to skip it. I'm running low on water and it's quite hot. Still 45 minutes to Smartno. So if you have a day that's not as hot and you're tempted, I should say go for it, because the description was very tempting. It's a church, 1500 out of the year 1500, something like that. And with one of the earliest Gothic altars in Slovenia. So it's sure worth the detour, but not today. So I was just saying I was running low on water, and then I saw a house and some people in there. And although I don't speak Slovenian, they were kind enough to understand me and let me top up on water. And also I was a bit cheeky and put my head underneath the tap, which is always amazing, especially in this heat. Hike past Smartno. There's a yellow marker on the ground, but if you hike past the bike rental, then you're going in the wrong direction. So instead, I went into Smartno, the old village, and there was a wine bar where you can also get coffee and some cola, and I enjoyed it very much, sitting in the shade with a view of the valley. It took me about 5 hours and 10 minutes to hike from Solkan to Smartno. It's a little bit more than the guidebook suggested, but again, the guidebook described the trail the other way around. So it's not too bad, all considering, because after all, I'm a slow hiker to begin with. And I also take extra time to take pictures and film. So that's you should take that in account when considering your own time splits. So now I'm hiking on to Korada, which means retracing my steps to the village in Imenje, and from there the trail to Solkan and to Korada diverge. So it's worth paying attention to. I have the GPS ready to see where the junction is exactly. According to the guidebook, it should take about 2.5 hours to 2 hours and 45 minutes. Oh, there's a tractor coming. As I said, according to the guidebook, it should take about 2 hours and 45 minutes. But again, it's in the other direction. It's 12 kilometers, and for me, it's mostly uphill, though it's quite gradual and not as steep as the first 2 kilometers of today were. I have to be there at 5 o'clock because that's when the shuttle comes to take me back to Smartno. Korada is a hut, and when the guidebook was written, They had hoped that the hut would be open all summer, but that's not the case. The hut is managed by a hiking club or a walking club, a mountaineering club, and they've opted to have the hut open only in weekends. So I think you could stay there from Saturday on Sunday, but today is Sunday, and from Sunday to Monday it won't be possible. So this is why I had to arrange a shuttle. It does give a little bit of pressure that I have to be there at 5 o'clock exactly, but it's still early, so I have plenty of time. Smartno is beautiful and well worth a visit, but if you don't want to go into the village, then on the square there is a tap with potable water. So I've topped up on water and now also dunked my head again. So I came from there, and on the way up I didn't even notice the Korada way marker, but it's quite confusing because you need to take the gravel road down below, and that's what I'm going to do, and the GPS is correct, so I'm going to follow it. I honestly didn't even notice the viewing tower the first time around, and now it's too far away, but I've had lovely views anyway. So I have a sneaking suspicion that I hiked into Smartno using the Korada Smartno section rather than the Solkan Smartno way markers. So I must have taken a wrong turn somewhere. It would explain why the section from Solkan to Smartno was 13 something kilometers instead of 15 like the guidebook says. But I'll try to figure it out so I can show you where I went wrong. But for now I'll keep the GPS handy because I can't backtrack. I don't have time to do it the right way. So today's stage is going to be about a kilometer and a half shorter than it should have been. Usually I'm a bit of a purist, so I would mind it, but it's way too hot to worry today. Back at the monument for the War of Independence, and another confusing sign because my GPS says to the right and the trail marker says to the left. There's a junction up ahead, so I'm going to walk over there and see if there's another marker, but honestly I prefer my GPX because otherwise I don't have anything really to guide me, because reading the guidebook while you're hiking is quite difficult. So let's see. So there's nothing here on this T-junction, so the GPS wins out. Back and to the right it is. I still don't know where I took a wrong turn, and frankly I'm giving up. It's way too hard to think about it, but for sure I'm now at the junction from Solkan and Korada. So let me turn the camera around. I came from there and I went there to Smartno, and now I'm going back over there to Korada, and I'm happy that I'm now having fresh trail because I don't like repeating myself. So into the forest I go. So basically, according to the GPS, I'm halfway to Korada, only 6 kilometers to go, though mostly uphill, but I just have to take a break. It is quite warm. I have plenty of water, fortunately, so that's not the issue this time. And maybe I will make my hair wet again, because that always makes the hiking a little easier. I'm not sure if I'm the only one who says, yay, cemeteries! But on a day as hot as today, I certainly find cemeteries or churches cause of joy, because there usually is a tap nearby. so that people can water the flowers or the plants that they leave at the graves. So for most people, I think cemeteries are a reason to contemplate life and death. For me, it's an excuse to wet my hair. It's wonderful. So only 2.7 kilometers left to the hut, and I have about an hour and a half before the shuttle shows up, so I'm taking it slow. It reminds me of a piece of advice that my mother used to give from when she was young and not yet so fearful of travel. She traveled to Switzerland once and climbed up a mountain quite fast. There was an elderly gentleman who hiked much slower. And when my mom and dad, had to stop and rest, the old man came by in the same slow pace. She was always so proud to be able to give that advice. Swiss pass, Swiss tread, I think, in English. And slow and steady, she means. And I was always annoyed because I have traveled extensively and I know quite a bit about hiking, and she traveled only in her youth and always had that one piece of advice to give. But now that she's gone, I remember that advice and take it to heart, and it reminds me how much I miss her. Oh, 35 minutes to Korada hut, and a sign like that is really encouraging, especially as I'm noticing the heat is getting to me. I'm feeling like I have to throw up, although I doubt much but water will be shown up, but it's not good. I'm ready to be done for today. So 900 meters and about 40 minutes until the taxi arrives. This morning I would never have thought I would cut it this close, so I better get hiking again. The very last stretch. So I did throw up just now, so I'm in a bit of trouble. Fortunately, only about 500 meters, so I'm going very slow. Thank goodness this last stretch is in the forest and it's not as steep as I've heard. Komoot showed one bad bit, but I think that is already behind me. It was just past where I rested, I think. But man, what a day. And here I thought this trail would be easy. My. It couldn't have been more wrong. I spy with my little eye that I've made it. Oh my goodness. With maybe 20 minutes to spare, I made it to the hut. Oh my. So I hiked 24.4 kilometers and it took about 8.5 hours. Imagine if I left an hour later, or if I had the original route to Smartno, I would have missed the shuttle at 5 o'clock. So I'm pretty knackered. Fortunately, it's Sunday and that means the hut is open, and I think I deserve some sugary drinks. And relaxing, and I'm not sure I'll be doing much more this evening. So the taxi driver arrived 10 minutes early, and he didn't make it all the way to the hut because he had a car rather than a jeep, and the last bit of road wasn't really car friendly. So I had to walk a bit to the taxi, but fortunately he was carrying my backpack, so that was very nice of him, and it made it a bit easier to get down to the taxi, to be honest. I am staying in the Brda house, which is a very nice room. Let me just show you around for a bit. All my stuff is on the dresser. There's a very nice bed and a shower with an actual rain shower and really nice soft fluffy towels. All I have to do now is figure out how the air conditioning works, but it's up there somewhere. I found a button near the door, but I'm not sure if it works yet. So let me lie down because I'm absolutely knackered. So even though I've been hiking for quite a long time, I think I've learned a thing or two today, because it was harder than it should have been. First thing I learned, I didn't really eat lunch because I was at a wine bar, and preparing lunch when you're in an establishment is not proper manners. So I ate a few snacks, some protein bars, and that was really all. I also didn't drink any, what's his name? I'll fill it out later here. Electrolytes. I don't really like to drink electrolytes. I don't like the taste of them. So I usually drink water. Whenever I get the chance, I drink a can of Coca-Cola to boost my sugar and my energy. And so far that works fine. But I found during a heat wave, especially because my body doesn't handle heat waves very well, I really need a bit more. I also don't like wearing a hat or a cap or anything on my head. I prefer just dunking my head under a tap and keeping my hair wet as a way to cool off. But I'm not sure that's going to be enough during this heat wave. Tomorrow I'm staying in Tolmin, which is a bigger town, I think. But because I've arranged for the taxi again at 5 o'clock, I think most shops in Tolmin will be closed by the time I get there. But the day after is only a 13-kilometer day and ends in Tolmin again. So hopefully I will be able to buy some headgear, some electrolytes, and I will be more mindful of eating along the way. Tomorrow is fortunately a shorter day, only 20 kilometers. The taxi will be here to take me back to the Korada hut at 9:30. So it was, I think, 30 minutes, 45 minutes today by car. So hopefully I will be hiking by 9:30. And this time I have plenty of time, I think, till 5 o'clock. So maybe if it's in the shade, I will find a spot to lie down for an hour and recuperate a bit. I always want to do that, but I never get around to that. This time too, I had a 15-minute break before Smartno, about a 45-minute break in Smartno, and then a few 5-minute breaks between Smartno and Korada, which may not be enough, I think. So I would call myself an experienced hiker, but I still make mistakes. And I'm a bit stubborn and set in my ways. But unfortunately, I'm still open to change. And right now, I need to change a few things. Because if this heat holds on, then I really can't imagine hiking days on end in this heat. Anyway, I'm going for dinner, I think. I'm not very hungry, but I need to eat something, maybe a soup or something. And something light, a salad perhaps. Also, I want to ask you a question if you have been following me so far. Usually I do an intro and an outro, and lately I've been a bit dissatisfied with doing only the outro, because so many things happen while you're on a trail, and with the outro I forget many things that have happened along the way. It's too short, so this trail, from this trail forward, I'm trying to use it more like a diary and taking you with me and sharing with what I've experienced. So let me know what you think about it, if that's an improvement or if you prefer just me showing the trail as it is without any commentary. For now, I'm going to eat something, lie down and do absolutely nothing. See you tomorrow.